Okay, I've been meaning to share some of my infrared videos with everybody, I guess. But I also want to thank those that did give me the donations to buy it. Um, right now, you can see I've got my infrared camera sitting on the seawall. It's probably less than 3 feet off the water, sitting on the seawall there. And this first little part of this observation right here, I'm going to actually slow it down at 50% speed. These are the Hernando Beach Islands. You can see water well beyond them. The horizon is exposed much further back. Um, in my opinion, it's refraction, light refraction, that does hide this horizon that we usually do not see. Because of the angle of light, atmospheric conditions, weather conditions, water temperature, many things actually are occurring out here. It isn't just one optical effect, it's multiple optical effects. And I also think that there's multiple lensing effects that occur. And hopefully I can expose some of those here in the future. I'm going to try to do some tests myself, but you can see this little farther distant boat going across. And I got to apologize for um, the focus on this. It's an automatic focus. I just set it down, let it go on its own. But what I noticed was every time the Bill Watts, that's the Bill Watts bird rack, every time it would flash on and off, it seemed like the camera wanted to focus on that light, and then it was losing the focus on everything else. So I'm trying to learn how to use the manual focus on it. Hopefully I can get that down pat. I do have some other observations I'd like to share. This was like a 12-minute video. I slowed that first part down to half speed, and then I sped the rest of it up 2 times the speed. I mean, if you did want to go into the settings and watch it at a slower rate, you could, but I don't think it's necessary. Obviously, you can see that these boats are on this side of Bill Watts' rack, but that first boat was well beyond that other rack, or well beyond the Bill Watts' rack. You see the smaller boats, the bigger boats. You can see them, well in the water. And here's another thing, people don't think that these distant waves can block out boats. They can. And when you see how smooth that water gets after the Bayport or the Hernando Beach Islands here, it goes into a smooth, what looks like a smooth surface. But believe me, there's waves and swells out there, just like there is up closer. One of the unique things about my area is we don't have really deep water out here, so the water does stay pretty calm. We don't have the waves and swells like they do on the East Coast. All right, I want to thank Jesse Hahn for donating $100 for this infrared camera. Also, I'd like to um, thank Rodney Thom uh, and Peter Berger for both donating $50 each. The Buzz Dev, that's Martin. He donated $20 to me. Thank you, Martin. And thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Mark and Rodney. And Mark Marshall also donated $20. So I was able to not only get another hard drive for my computer that, believe it or not, I've already eaten up, and had to buy another hard drive. But overall, I got about $240 donated. So that was uh, not quite enough to get the infrared camera. I did boot in a little bit of money myself. The infrared camera, it's a full spectrum HDR. So it's a Sony HDR CX 405, and I ordered it with full spectrum. Um, I'm not really sure if I'm really satisfied with this camera. I wish I could have took my um, B700 and had it turned into infrared. I think I would have got more out of it and would have been able to work the functions better, because the Sony has some really strange functions. I'm still trying to learn them. So, bear with me. I will try to get some better footage with it in the future. I do have a little bit of footage with Cutter's Rock. Um, it isn't really quality footage. I've kind of been reluctant to post it. I might post it. I don't know. I want to look at the footage again. It's from this same day. I was actually zoomed in on it with the P7 or P1000, and then I set the infrared camera up earlier. This was when I first got there, but this was a little bit later, as the sun was departing our view. So in turn, even the angle of light does change that horizon line, and I think it's due to the fact that it's just changing angles, changing the light angle, and causing the horizon to change up. In other words, start mirroring out, which is obvious this mirroring effect occurs. Many of us have been going out and really showing how that mirroring does hide objects. It kind of causes this ramp up effect, in my opinion, and blocks out the lower portions of boats, buildings, everything else. Also, the lensing effect also causes that same effect of hiding the lower portions of objects. All right, the rest of this footage really starts getting bumpy, so I'll just call it quits right here. Hopefully, I can get some better information or better footage with this thing. All right, thanks a lot for watching, folks.